What is up, YouTube? Today I want to talk about, it's kind of, so we've been talking, so much about how physical media is going to be ending here and God knows how long. But one topic that kept coming to mind was, how Xbox started all this with the first company being the one to do digital console only. And, PlayStation shortly following after that. But Nintendo, man. Nintendo has really been holding out on this whole digital-only era kind of thing. And what I want to talk to you guys about today is how long will Nintendo hold out before they start going this route too? Now, we all know over in Japan and stuff like that, it seems like they really like to hold on to actually owning this stuff. Whether it still be, I swear they still make retro games new over there, it seems like, because everybody's always coming back with imported games and everything like that. So will their culture slowly change as well, or will they continue to really love having the physical games themselves? So just a little background, if you don't know, a lot of companies here pretty soon are going to be stopping to make physical games. I know you guys have all seen the videos popping up on YouTube, whether it be my own videos or everybody else's, talking about how physical media is dying. And if you honestly think that it isn't going to end someday, then you're naive, I would say, because at some point it's going to be gone. But I like to think that maybe someday we'll all give a push and they'll continue to sell the physical media. But the honest to God truth is they just don't want to anymore. We've talked about how they've groomed the younger generation to believe in not owning the discs and stuff like that. It's much easier to download the games and stuff like that. And even nowadays, I believe that some people are getting lazy too and just decided that it's easier to just to keep the games downloaded on your system and not have to get up and put the games in themselves. But we're not going to go over that today. We're going to talk more about the Nintendo side of it. So I actually was bored this morning. Got up early for all this, but we're going to talk about this. And I searched this on the good old Google, Will Nintendo be the last one to hold out on this physical only, will they be the only ones left doing physical? So this is what I found. So here on Nintendo Life, which is the message board, somebody actually had this posted back in June of 2023. Magician here said, I looked online and it appears to me that all the publishers in the boutique physical sector of the industry are taking hits for their poor customer service, shipping games not complete on cartridge, and or long production time seeming getting longer. No company has been immune to this criticisms. Limited run, super rare, special, blah, blah. They've all been getting substantial heat on social media recently. More gamers are going digital only every day. Where do you think these companies will be in a few years? And then they got a nice little accurate little gif here going down with the ship. So when he's talking about this, one of the huge things was last year, obviously, Hogwarts Legacy came out, and you had to have internet. You had to download a patch. The game did not come complete at all on the disc at all. So that was like what he's kind of talking about here, how they got a lot of heat for that. And then I remember, when Alan Wake 2 was announced, it was announced that it was going to be digital only, and to try and soften the blow, they tried to tell you, most new games that come out nowadays are going to be $70, but we're going to start selling Alan Wake 2 brand new for $60 since it's digital only. Obviously, this still was not good enough. There was still a lot of heat that they got. There's still a lot of, criticism online. I honestly think that the game obviously didn't sell as well because of this. I know people like Gaming Off the Grid and stuff, they boycotted the game because they did not want, they wanted physical options because they loved the first one and they're more of a physical media person. And I've talked in the past about how I like both, but I prefer physical. So these companies were getting the heat. Another big one too was Starfield had announced that they were going to do digital only. Well, there was such a huge shockwave throughout the community because everybody was so excited for Starfield, and as near the end of it, they announced, well, we'll do a physical copy, and I believe a lot of it was they just threw it a code in a case and called it good, or kind of the same with Hogwarts Legacy, where they barely put anything on the disc. So we went over that post right there. What is it? This guy was asking for their opinions on it, so we're gonna go down a little farther and see what some people had to say. So obviously, let's see here. So the fact is that there's still a market for people that want physical games, and we know that because, like I just said, people were boycotting it and everything. It's not completely gone. It would be there for a time that unless video games companies forces its disappearance. I mean, there are still people out there buying movies in DVD form, and they're not lying. I still know some people that buy DVDs, but it's obviously growing more rare and rarer to find people that actually buy DVDs. Now, there's subscribers on here that have commented on my physical media videos in the past that, hey, I still buy movies and stuff like that, and that's good. I mean, that'll keep them going. But the bigger companies like Walmart and stuff like that, Best Buy, and then will be stopping to sell DVDs here pretty soon, and that's kind of one thing too. But man, there has been more than one occasion where I wanted to buy an indie physical, but the prices would be 3 times the price as digital, or you had to pre-order it months before it launched with limited numbers, aka limited run. And that's one of the big things too, is indie games have been, kind of I think a pivotal thing for Nintendo Switch. I think that is one of their big selling points with a lot of people nowadays is the indie games that are on there. And we've noticed this too, that the digital games themselves become cheaper on the systems itself, and then if they do good enough, they sometimes get a physical release, but obviously they become way more expensive. The existence and the success of these companies early on shows that some people really wanted physical versions of the indies, but they really just burned a lot of bridges after a while. Especially because a lot of those behaviors were excused by being new and small companies selling the indie games, but can only get you so far, and it gets forced over time. So that's really like a lot of this is I know with the indie companies that they are smaller companies, so it's probably harder for them to make this stuff because they don't have the big publishers doing it. They're little guys starting up with maybe 20 to 30 people, if that. So it's a lot harder for them to run. But what we're going over is Nintendo going to be the last one that holds out on this. And this one, this guy down here, Magician at the Big Blue, shared that obviously the video when Xbox announced that there were going to be an Xbox One that was pure digital only. And his reply to this is, I know Nintendo will continue selling physical releases as long as they possibly can. They know their market, and it lies a lot in physical and digital. Nintendo won't bump on a console anytime soon that has enough power for all digital. As for Sony and Microsoft, they've been pushing for all digital as soon as they could, so the market is uncertain. And it has been true. In all honesty, Nintendo, I believe, is kind of lacking on the power department. I mean, if you look at the Nintendo Switch, it maxes out at 1080p, handheld mode at 720p, and even some of the games are slacking. I mean, if you look at games like Mortal Kombat 1, the new one that came out, and some of those other games, the graphics on them are, they obviously are not good enough. I mean, they're compared to like a PS4 and an Xbox One, even though it's kind of a newer generation system. I've seen a lot of games sometimes look like PS3 kind of graphics. Let's see here. So I think this was more along the lines talking about limited run stuff like that. Now that's one company I believe that will continue to thrive during this time. I got a buddy or two that actually that buys limited run stuff all the time, And they're cool stuff. I mean, a lot of times they come with a lot of cool little, yeah, they're cool. Like, I think he just got a Double Dragon / Battletoads Super Nintendo cartridge that was green and it looked really cool. But the problem is that they're super expensive, and then you forget that you actually paid for them. Like, I asked him and he sent me the pictures, how much was it? And he said, I don't know, it was like a year ago that I bought this. So, you're buying these games and they're showing up a year later. It's just ridiculous to me. But going on to the final pull of this video to talk more about this, in my opinion, when Xbox and stuff started doing the digital only consoles, that was where the decline started. Now, obviously, Nintendo, I don't believe, has no plans on going digital only on their console. From what I understand from the specs and people talking about the rumors of the Switch 2, there's no rumors that I've heard, anyways, that it's going to be that there's going to be a digital only option. Now, and I also, hear that it might be a smaller storage system on it. So if that's possible too, then obviously they're not planning on doing digital only if they're not going to make it so you can put much storage on there. So I know, like right now with the Switch, you really don't get much room on there unless you add an SD card. So that might be something they're going to plan down the road. But like I said, I don't think they plan on doing a digital only console soon. Like I said, I don't know much about Japan, but it seems like over there they really like to own their stuff, obviously. So as long as technology advanced as they do still like to own the physical media over there. So I'm just kind of hoping that they will continue to keep pushing for physical media. And at some point, with people, boycotting digital only stuff, that might be a push for the other companies to continue to make physical media. Then, if they see how good Nintendo is doing still, they might be like, "Oh, hey, we made a huge mistake. We need to, focus ourselves back on making physical media." Because if we look over at Nintendo here, they stopped buying our Xboxes, they stopped buying our PlayStations, and now they're buying Switches just so they can have physical media. But it's hard to say, guys. I predicted that, in the next 10 years or so, I believe that physical media will be almost completely gone. But on second thought, thinking a little bit more about it and seeing how Nintendo has been going, there is a chance that maybe Nintendo will be holding out for longer. And that's just what I really wanted to talk about in this video today, is I think that Nintendo will hold out the longest out of the major video game publishers, developers, and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of cool. Obviously, I'm not a huge Nintendo fanboy. I like Nintendo, and I honestly like all the companies themselves. My favorite system right now is obviously the PS5, but that doesn't mean that that I'm a Sony fanboy. I've always been a huge supporter of all consoles and don't specifically just keep myself stuck on one. So with that being said, guys, I want to know in the comments below what you guys think. Obviously, from comments in the past, a lot of my subscribers think that Nintendo is never going to go the digital only route. So I want to know what you guys think too. If you haven't commented on these videos before, please make sure you do so. I love reading your guys' comments and interacting with all of you, and I want to know your opinions on this. So yeah, just make sure that you comment below what you guys think. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this quick little physical versus media conversation again. And I know a lot of these videos get dragged out because I just like that talk. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for sitting around and listening to this tired gamer dad talk about his opinion on the subject. So with that being said, guys, have yourself a great day, rest of your week. As always, stay retro, my friends, and I will see you in the next video.